Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another episode of Quran in English. My name is Ahmed, and I'm happy to go through the next section of Surah Saba, the chapter of Sheba. We've already talked about the Sheba before, the Queen of Sheba, when we were talking about Sulaiman. How long ago was that? Al-Qasas, maybe? Al-Qasas is Sulaiman? Yeah, it must have been one of these. Anyway, we talked about Sheba before. We're going to finally talk about it today a little bit. It's very interesting. But before I get into it, let me explain what I'm doing here. I'm practicing reading the Quran in Arabic. I'm discussing it in English because that's the best way for me to learn. This is an education journey. I'm sharing it with you. If you like that, great. If you don't, okay. Alright. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ruhul Amin from Bangladesh, Sabah. Is Sabah Bangladesh? I don't think. No, it's a Caribbean island. What? And the smallest municipality, officially the public body of the Netherlands. Wait, what? What? Yeah, but it can't have been this one. No, talking about the surah. Okay, gotcha. Hello. Oh, now I can call you by your name. Nice to know. Do you have a preference of what do I call you? Because so far I've been calling you English. do you prefer English or Ruhul or Amin? What would you prefer? Oh, I'm recording a YouTube video, so sorry, I forget. All right, so what am I doing? This is an education journey, and I'm here to learn about the Quran, share my journey with you. Ruhul Amin. Okay, nice to join you. There's people that are chatting live because this is live on YouTube and live on Twitch. Okay. Yeah, if you like education and you're okay with mistakes, keep watching. If not, okay. All right. Wait, I'm going to sneeze and then we'll start, I think. I've sneezed twice. I don't know why. I'm learning from you, bro. Thanks, Rahul. I mean, I appreciate it. I'm learning too. I'm happy you're happy. All right. Alright, let's get into it. 3, 2, 1. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولقد آتينا داود منا فضلا يا جبال أوبي معه والطير وألنا له الحديد. Okay. And certainly we gave David from us bounty. We gave David a great privilege, a great bounty. And we said, O mountains, repeat praises with him and the birds. So somehow the mountains and the birds were subjected for David. Which it's very interesting to think of what the mountains were doing. We all know about the story of the birds, that King Solomon and King David had the birds, access to them. But it's interesting to see about the mountains. What does that mean? Echo his hymns? That's an interesting way of saying it. And we made pliable for him the iron. Something about David's armor seems to be very specific and very significant about the armor that they used to wear. So this one, actually, they say iron, and then when they bring up Solomon next, they talk about copper. So it does talk about different types of minerals, which is very interesting. أن اعمل سابغات وقدر في السرد واعملوا صالحا إني بما تعملون بصير. And they told him that he should work in full coats of metal and precisely measure the lengths of armor. So there's something about the armor of David. Taking the iron and making it into armor, there's something very unique about it. They said, do all the armor, and then, of course, and do good deeds, and be righteous, and do right, do good. Indeed, I am of what you do all-seeing. God is all-seeing of what they do. And it's kind of very important that even the messengers, even the prophets, even the kings that were appointed by God are being watched by God, because nobody's perfect and everyone needs to be doing good and doing better. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, let me just see Twitch. Cool. ولسليمان الريح غدوها شهر ورواحها شهر وأسلنا له عين القطر ومن الجن من يعمل بين يديه بإذن ربه ومن يزغ منهم عن أمرنا نذقه من عذاب السعير. And to Solomon, King Solomon, the wind, its morning course, when the wind travels in the morning, it takes a month. Its morning stride was a month's journey. This is what they say. So like when the wind, where it goes, in the distance that the wind can go in a month, a human can go in the distance the wind can go in a morning, a human can go in a month. I think that's how I translate it. Like you have to get on camels or whatever and travel distances, however long it takes you to go for a month. Solomon had the wind, which can cover that distance in one morning, and then in return, and its afternoon course is also a month. So it can travel about 2 months worth in the time for humans. So he had the wind, essentially is what they're saying. And we caused to flow for him عين القطر, a spring of molten copper, which is like, why is... Oh, there's also the ring of King Solomon. It's quite infamous, the ring of King Solomon, because King Solomon was also known for magic, right? And we know that from the previous chapters that he had jinn, and the jinn worked for him, and we are going to cover the jinn in this very verse. But there's something about his ring. So much infamy entails behind it in the world. To talk about it, the infamous ring of King Solomon. And if you don't know what infamous means, famous means that everybody knows it. Infamous means that everybody knows it for like naughty reasons, for danger, for like not necessarily a good thing. Like Hitler is infamous, right? Yeah. And from the jinn, those who worked before him, by the permission of his Lord. So some jinn worked for King Solomon, and whoever deviated from the jinn, from his command, then we would make that the person that deviated, the jinn that deviated, taste a torment that is a blazing fire. So the jinn had to obey or suffer. Those are your options. I tried to eat something different for suhoor. It's a bit strange. Anyway, يعملون له ما يشاء من محاريب وتماثيل وجفان كالجواب وقدور راسيات. اعملوا آل داود شكرا وقليل من عبادي الشكور. They worked for him. So the jinn, they made for him whatever he willed, from elevated chambers. Remember, the Queen of Sheba believed after she came into King Solomon's castle, and she saw the ground that looked like water, and she saw her reflection. That was the thing that made her go, "Oh my God, this is beyond human." And that's when she was like, "This is something special." So they made from him elevated chambers and statues and bowls and reservoirs and cooking pots that were fixed. And then the command here is work, family of David. Work is the thing, and work with gratitude. As you are given, you have to be grateful, and you have to do good work. But few of my slaves are grateful. Now, this is only a few of my servants are truly grateful, which are always like, okay, so why is it saying only a few of my servants are grateful when it's talking about the family of David? Because I think David and Solomon were grateful and were great men. However, their descendants, which we know to be the children of Israel, may not have always adhered to the standard that David and Solomon had set. as in work while being thankful, which I think is, I mean, it's something that we all struggle with, right? We all struggle to do good work and be grateful for what we have. It's so easy to go, oh, I don't have money, I don't have this, I don't have love, I don't have this. And it's so easy to not be grateful for the things that you do have. You have your health, you have your ability to learn, you have the Quran, you have guidance, you have air, you have water. Like, there's just so much to be grateful for. Obviously, David and Solomon were given a lot, but all of us are given a lot in our own way. You just have to learn how to focus on it and focus and learn. فلما قضينا عليه الموت ما دلهم على موته إلا دابة الأرض تأكل من سأته من سأته من سأته
من سأته
من سأته فلما خر تبينت الجن أن لو كانوا يعلمون الغيب ما لبثوا في العذاب المهين. I finally understand it. I was too busy reading this the first time, so I didn't just read the Arabic. The Arabic makes a lot of sense. Anyway, فلما قضينا عليه الموت. So when we decreed upon him death, when his death had come about, nothing had led them, nothing had indicated to them being the jinn, that he died. Nobody told the jinn that King Solomon had died. Solomon or David? I would imagine David, not Solomon. I first thought Solomon, but it doesn't actually say. Here they say King Solomon's death, and that's why I read it as King Solomon's. But فَلَمَّا قَضَيْنَا عَلَيْهِ الْمَوْتِ, it just says upon him the death. And the last person that they spoke about was David. So why are we thinking it's Solomon? Maybe the story was about Solomon. And it also does make sense that it was about King Solomon, but it doesn't specifically mention. It just says, when we decreed upon him death, nothing indicated to them his death except a creature that roams the earth that was eating his staff. So here they translated it to termites. Ate his staff. So he died, but they didn't know that he died until something ate his staff. And once the staff was eaten, that's when they realized that he died. So when it was clear to them, when it became clear to them that he fell down, when it became clear to the jinn that he fell down, it was as if if they had only known what the unseen. Now, this is a common expression that we see in the Quran. Nobody knows the unseen but God. So what does the unseen mean? Some people talk about the future. Some people talk about the present. Some people talk about like a whole variety of things. But in this case, this verse is saying, if they had only known the unseen, they would not have stayed in the punishment that is humiliating, in the torment that is humiliating. So what is the torment that's humiliating? If I understand it from the previous verses, it's saying the jinn had to obey, and if they didn't obey, they suffered. And that's not exactly how jinn work. Jinn are kind of like humans, in the sense that they want to do their own thing, they want to follow their own free will, they don't like being controlled, they don't like being forced, they're very rebellious, they're very independent. So being forced into servitude to somebody else is humiliating. Being forced to work for somebody, or you get punished, like nobody, like you're going to do this or I'm going to hurt you. Nobody wants to do that. So apparently, let's just say it's Solomon. Solomon had died, and if they really knew the unseen, if they really knew what was behind the veil, if they knew what about the future, about things that they claimed to know, then they would have known that he died. And if they knew he died, then they wouldn't have to continue working for him and being subjected to this humiliation. But because they didn't know he died, and they don't have access to the unseen, therefore they kept working in this painful and humiliating servitude. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, now we go back to Sheba. لقد كان لسبأ في مسكنهم آية جنتان عن يمين وشمال كلوا من رزق ربكم واشكروا له بلدة طيبة ورب غفور. It was for Sheba in their homes, a sign. So what is the sign? They used to have two gardens from the right and the left, and the instruction was eat from what the provision that God has provided for you and be grateful to him. This is a land that is good and a Lord that is oft forgiving. So far so good. You have gardens on the left and the right. You have lots of provisions. God is good. God is forgiving. Land is good. Eat and be grateful. فأعرضوا فأرسلنا عليهم سيل العرم وبدلناهم جنتين ذواتا أكل خمط وأثل وشيء من سدر قليل. So they turned away from it, but unfortunately they turned away from God and from being thankful. So we sent to them a flood, and a flood of the dam, and we changed for them their two gardens, with two gardens producing fruit that is bitter, and tamarisks, I don't know what tamarisks are, fruitless bushes that has no fruit, and something from the lot trees a little. Yeah, fruitless bushes, what is this? Tamarisks, and thorny trees, lot trees. Trees with a lot of thorns. Essentially, their fruitful gardens were replaced with gardens that were not producing a lot of fruit, that had a lot of dead vegetation on it. They weren't thankful, so they kind of lost it. It's a very classic tale. If you don't appreciate what you have, you will lose it. ذلك جزيناهم بما كفروا وهل نجازي إلا الكفور. That is what we recompense them for, what they disbelieved or what they were ungrateful. That's the correct word. It's not about disbelief, it's about denying the blessings of God. And do we ever reward somebody, or do we ever punish? Is kind of give them what they deserve. Do we ever make people lose except the ungrateful? The ungrateful is the only people that they punish. وجعلنا بينهم وبين القرى التي باركنا فيها قرى ظاهرة وقدرنا فيها السير سيروا فيها ليالي وأياما آمنين. And we made between them and between the towns that we have blessed in it, towns that are visible, and we determined it between them the journey. We'd also between them and the cities, we shower them. Okay, this translation is retarded. Sorry, here's my language. Yeah, it is not good. And we made between them and between the towns that we have blessed. So the towns that we have blessed, they've now translated it to Mecca and Jerusalem. Those are the towns that we have blessed. I think that makes sense. But this translation is just wild. So made between them and between Sheba and between the towns that were blessed, in it towns that are visible, and we determined in it the journey. So there used to be a lot of small towns in between those major cities, and it made traveling quite easy between them. And we said travel between them by night and by day safely, because there's so many towns, there's so many things in between. It's quite easy to travel. Just go. But then فقالوا ربنا باعد بين أسفارنا وظلموا أنفسهم فجعلناهم أحاديث ومزقناهم كل ممزق إن في ذلك لآيات لكل صبار شكور. And then they said, "Oh Lord, create more distance. Create more distance between our journeys." And they wronged themselves. Now, I don't understand why they created more. They became bored of living comfortably and traveling easily. A similar example can be seen in 26:1 when the children of Israel became bored with the manna and quails and wanted to eat other such things and garlics. It doesn't actually say what their reasoning is, but that does sound very human. To be like, "Oh, this is easy. You should make it more difficult." It sounds very human, you know? Either way, all we know is they said, "Lengthen the distance between our journeys," which is like, why? And they wronged themselves. So we made them narrations and we dispersed them. We kept them apart as far as keeping apart as much as possible. Indeed, in that is a sign for every patient and grateful person. Now, there's something to be said about humans wanting to make life more difficult for themselves. And there's something about life and difficulty. There's a reason why this life is difficult. There's a reason why we are tested constantly. There's a reason why every time you solve one thing, something new comes for you to solve. Something new comes for you to work on. Life is not exactly la-di-da, I get everything, everything's great, everything's fantastic, yay. It doesn't do that. And if your life is really good and really grateful, you end up being like the people of Sheba, where they say, make our lives more difficult. This is too easy. So there's a part of our humanity that is drawn to the struggle. And having things too easy, I think, is a problem. Because our souls need struggle to grow. We need pain. We need suffering in order to be better, to do better, to think, and to creatively, actively engage our brains. And that's why, for instance, we're recording this in the blessed month of Ramadan. Ramadan is exactly that. It's 1 month of difficulty to kind of get your brain in that survival mode so that you can be creative, so that you can find solutions, so that you can be grateful. In the end of the day, it's all about figuring out how to best survive this life. This life is hard, and there's a reason why it's hard. There's something about the struggle. In the Quran it says, "Inna ma'al usri yusra," which means with struggle, with hardship comes ease. And it's like this weird juxtaposition. It's the same thing like going to the gym. Going to the gym is hard, but once you go to the gym and you do the hard work, then going to the gym becomes easier. It's like this weird, the whole point of this life is the strengthening of our mind, bodies, and most importantly, our souls. And in the end, patience and being grateful is the key. We need truth. We should all work together for truth. It's hard for everything. I ran into a raccoon the other day. Mamo, is his spirit better than ours? I don't know anything about raccoon spirits, so I cannot answer you. وَلَقَدْ صَدَقَ عَلَيْهِمْ إِبْلِيسُ ظَنَّهُ فَاتَّبَعُوهُ إِلَّا فَرِيقًا مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And then Iblis, which is kind of interesting. It's using his name before the fall. Iblis was before the fall. Shaitan was after the fall. And you may know him as Satan. And it says that Satan, well, it says Iblis specifically, and I don't know why it's using his older name, had found truth upon them. Satan had, his assumption had fallen truth upon them. So they believed his assumption. So they followed him, except for a group of the believers. So everybody, if we're tying it to the people of Sheba, they reduced them to cautionary tales and scattered them utterly. So this is the lesson for whoever's. So they scattered. The reason why they asked for something more is because Iblis's assumptions, his guessing, fell true upon them. I will read the Bible, Machapao, after I'm done reading the Quran. Well, I think I'll read the New Testament. Not only the New Testament, the Gospels. I do not like the works of Paul, as far as I can tell, but I will see. The Gospels I'm most interested in, specifically Jesus I'm most interested in. Everything else in the Bible I am less interested in. Jesus specifically is the key. You're comfortable, you have a lot of work to do. I do. So these people, Iblis was the name of Satan before his fall from grace. His assumption or vow was that he could easily mislead the majority of people. Yeah. Oh, okay. So his assumption was that he could mislead the people, and it became true. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah. By the way, Rahul, I mean, if you're wondering who I'm talking to, I'm also on Twitch. So I have two chats going. I'm talking to someone on Twitch and I'm talking to someone on YouTube. So I'm talking to both of you, Matchpow and Rahul. Hey, how's it going? وما كان له عليهم من سلطان إلا لنعلم من يؤمن بالآخرة ممن هو منها في شك وربك على كل شيء حفيظ. And Satan did not have over him any authority. He does not have any authority over them. Satan doesn't have any authority over anyone, except so that we might make evidence who believes in the afterlife and who is in doubt about it. So Satan's authority over people is kind of like a litmus test, a way to figure out who believes and who trusts and who doesn't believe and who doesn't trust. You know what I mean? So he doesn't have power over us, but we have power over ourselves. If we have doubt, then his words come true within us, not because he has control over us, but because we have doubt in our hearts. It's all about, you can't pick and choose. I'm ex-Christian, but you can't pick and choose. He does. Yeah. I don't think that being gay and having Satan in you is the same thing. I strongly disagree with it. I strongly disagree with most Muslim scholars about homosexuality, which I guess I disagree with Christian scholars about homosexuality. I don't think that it's sinful or wrong, but this is going to be very interesting because, yeah, I'm trying to preach to a wider audience. I have a lot of verses. May Allah bless you and make the Quran easy for you and for me, my brother. Thanks, Rahul. And your Lord is over everything a guardian. So, what does it say? Yeah, we talked about this. He doesn't have authority over them, but only to distinguish who believe in the hereafter and who are in doubt about it. Last two verses for today. The last verse is very interesting to me. قُلْ ادْعُوا الَّذِينَ زَعَمْتُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ لا يملكون مثقال ذرة في السماوات ولا في الأرض وما لهم فيها من شرك وما له منهم من ظهير. Say, invoke, call upon those who you claim from besides God. Call upon those. If you believe that somebody else go help you, if somebody else go come to your aid, by all means, call. Go ahead. Call them, worship, do whatever you want. But what the truth that the Quran is saying is they do not possess a weight of an atom in the heavens nor in the earth, and they do not have in both of them any partnership, and not from them any supporter. They do not have any share in governing them, nor is there any helper to them. So now these are fighting words, right? Because this is what a lot of people, polytheists, believe. Like if you look at the Greeks, they say that Poseidon was the god of the sea, and everyone talks about, this one does this and this one does that. And the Quran very specifically says, no, they don't do nothing. And that is the claim that the Quran is making, which is fighting words. It's pretty much saying those things that you pray to are nothing. And that's a big statement. There should be a way to kind of prove it, but I don't know. God says there's only one God. It is fine to believe in something, but the point of religion is to make other humans wrong and you are right, or else you're a cult. Power is the end struggle. I don't care about that. Talk to me like a friend, not like you're selling me something. I'm not trying to sell you something. I'm just trying to read and share what I understand. But I'll happily talk to you as a friend in one more verse. After one verse, I will continue the conversation with you, if that's okay. But here, yeah, we've seen this time and time again. He says, call upon. The Quran pretty much says, okay, God says He's created the heavens, the earth, and everything in between, and everything's under His watchful eye. What do your gods do? The Quran says nothing. ولا تنفع الشفاعة عنده إلا لمن أذن له حتى إذا فزع عن قلوبهم قالوا ماذا قال ربكم قالوا الحق وهو العلي الكبير. Now, I tried reading the translation. I do not like it, so I'm going to try and explain it the best way that I read it in Arabic. And intercession will not benefit with him except for whom He grants permission. So nobody can intercede except for whom God says they can intercede. Until the fear is removed from their hearts. And I feel like this is talking about the people that are being interceded on their behalf. Not the people who are interceding, but the people who are receiving intercession. When they receive the intercession, when the fear is removed from their hearts, they will be asked, what did your Lord say? And they will say, the truth. Which, again, this is a very interesting point for Machipao. You're very interested in the truth, and this is the one thing that the Quran talks about the most. So once the fear is removed from their hearts, and they're asked the question, what did your Lord say? They will say the truth. I think it's hard to hear the truth when you have fear in your heart, and only once the fear is resolved, then you're able, once you quiet your soul, then you can hear better. When you are afraid, when you are angry, when you are frustrated, it's very hard to think clearly. It's very hard to find the truth. You have to still the waters of your soul in order to know what resonates to be true, because within all of us is a sense for the truth. And that sense isn't in our vision, isn't in our hearing, but it is in our hearts. And it's very easy for our hearts to be clouded and to be confused. And therefore, if you calm yourself down, you can find the truth. وهو العلي الكبير. And He is the Most High and Most Great. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. صدق الله العلي العظيم. That's it for today's episode. I'm going to end the recording here, but I'm going to continue with the Twitch so that I can continue talking to Matt Chappelle. And Rahul, also you can kind of hang out. But yeah, thank you all for watching YouTube video. مع السلامة. Bye.